Hey, what's up? If I look funny, it's because I just woke up. It's like 6:30 in the morning. Yeah, I'm getting old. Got bags under my eyes. Face just look different. So this video is talking about my time in the Marine Corps. It's all these videos really like therapeutics, like a video diary of memories. So some things are kind of sketchy because it happened like 25, 30 years ago or something like that. you know? So this is talking about my time on the rifle range in boot camp, and really before they had these pop-up targets that automatically came up and went down. See, back in the day when you was in the Marine Corps, you fired your weapon on the rifle range either early in the morning or in the afternoon, and then you went down to where the targets were, and you had to pull targets. So that means you had to get targets from this shed, and then you put them up on these retractable metal pulleys, and then you pull the targets, and the targets would go up so the shooters could fire, and then you bring it back down to mark the target, and then you put it back up, and then it'll have like a circle. You have markers where you could tell the people where they shot the target. Right now they have computers that robotics, I guess, robotics or whatever. It'll put the target up. You fire the target, it'll hit, and then it'll just mark the target automatically. And then you have a computer screen that you look down after you fire at the target, and then it'll let you know where you fired at or if you missed or whatever. Before, you had to do all of that by hand, and so because you do that by hand, you're down there when they firing bullets down range, and you're not like in a bunker. You're not in a bunker, like you're out in the open. So what it is, it's a berm, right? So let's say you 300 yards down range. Right, down range means that you in the pathway of the bullet. That's what downrange means. So somebody fires a weapon, and the bullet from the weapon that they fire goes downrange towards where you're located, and you got a berm there so they won't shoot you. You behind the berm, kind of like a sand dune. Think about a sand dune, right? And you behind the sand dune, if you can picture that. And then you got this target behind the sand dune, and you looking up, you can actually see the rounds hit the paper target. So you hear not only the bullet going by you, but you hear it hit the target. So it's like a psst, 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 like that, like psst, psst. That's what you hear. Sometimes people hit the berm, right? And the berm, when they miss the target totally, you'll hear a loud "pah" like that, and they're hitting either wood or just hitting the dirt, and then you get showered with a lot of dirt. Come down and like, yo, somebody missed target, right? You know you're not going to mark the target because they hit the berm, they didn't hit the target. Right? And then when I was in Parris Island, both in boot camp and as a Marine, because I was stationed at Marine Corps Air Station Beaufort, South Carolina. The Marines that were stationed in Beaufort, they go to the range on Parris Island. You get bused from the air station, probably take about 20 minutes or so, something like that. And then you get bused to Parris Island, and then that's when you fire your weapon and you qualify on the range, and then you get bused back to the air station. And you can actually see the rounds hitting because they had a swamp behind the berm. Behind the berm is a swamp, and you can just see the rounds hitting the water, the reeds and the water. Well, there's certain parts of the swamp that you can just open where you can see water, and then you got the reeds, and then water reeds. Like it's all the way down, and it's like no man's land, right? So it could be alligators out there, but I've never seen no alligator in that swamp. I never seen it. I ain't really paying no attention to it anyway. So, because you have a line that you can't cross when they're firing, because if you cross, then you could get hit by a bullet, because like I said, the rounds are going straight overhead. But if they hit the berm, well, you don't know the trajectory of the bullet is gonna change. You don't know which way it's gonna hit, or the trajectory of how the bullet's gonna move. So it could hit the berm and go straight down at an angle, and it could hit maybe 5, 10, 15 feet behind you. And if you back there, then you're gonna get hit. And that's the difference between what I think that's good training, to be honest with you, because you get to hear exactly what it sounds like when somebody's shooting at you. Like nowadays, basic training, you don't get that. There are no weapons going down range that you could simulate. They just don't simulate that somebody firing at you with real live bullets in boot camp anymore. Now, when you are in infantry training, maybe they got something like that. I don't know. When I went to Marine combat training, you just fired your weapon. Nobody scored you, and then you just fired your weapon down range at some targets, and then you just moved on. Nobody's firing over your head. The only simulation they had in boot camp where somebody was firing over your head, they were blanks, and then you had to go through this. I forgot what they call it, but it was just range where you got to go under barbed wire, and they got explosions going on around you, and excuse me, and somebody firing like a 60 M60 or something, so you can hear the weapon firing, but you don't hear no rounds going overhead, and they might be popping flares up or something like that, and all this at night. So it's kind of get your sensories going. And then you got to crawl on the barbed wire, you got to crawl on the logs, crawl through this cement, you got to crawl through water. When I say cement, these cement tunnels or whatever, tubes. And that's the only simulation that you get. And then I think at the end of it, it's like you got a bayonet something, a dummy or something like that. And then that's it. That's your course. It's probably like 50 yards long, maybe even 100. Anyway, I don't know. All I know, they just said go. And then I went. Right? So, yeah, that's my short story on the experiences of Marine training and what we had to go through. Like I said, they had rounds going down range that you could hear. You knew you was getting fired at because you can look up and see the rounds hitting the target. And all of a sudden, the hole ain't there in the target, and all of a sudden, it's there. You're like, psh. You're like, oh, okay. Plus, you can hear it, and you can actually see the impact of it on the other side and where the swamp is. And sometimes, like I said, somebody will hit the berm, and you'll get showered with some sand. They don't have that anymore. But that's great psychological training, because you actually get to feel what it's like with somebody shooting at you. I think that's a good goal.